Deep within the dense, untamed forests of Central Africa lies a place whispered about but rarely visited. It's a village called Ndembo, a name that clings to the air like a shroud, a place outsiders are warned to avoid. The people of Ndembo live by a set of strange, ancient rules. They say are older than time itself, etched into the very soul of the land. Every year, as the calendar turns to the night of the moonless sky, a powerful, almost tangible energy descends upon the village. This is when the people gather at the sacred grove, a circle of ancient trees where the veil between worlds is said to be at its thinnest. As dusk falls, they don their masks, each one intricately carved from the dark heart of ebony wood. These aren't just masks, they are vessels, each one representing a revered ancestor, a spirit from the world beyond. As the last sliver of light vanishes from the sky, a great fire is lit in the center of the grove. This isn't ordinary fire. Its flames danced with an unnatural persistence, casting long, writhing shadows that seemed to have a life of their own. Around this eternal flame, the villagers begin to dance. It's a hypnotic, rhythmic movement, a story told through their bodies, accompanied by chants in a tongue long forgotten by the outside world. Legend has it that on this one night, the spirits of the ancestors are drawn to the fire. They walk among the living, their ethereal forms unseen but deeply felt. They are searching, observing, and before the night is over, they will choose one soul to join them in the spirit realm. What happens to the chosen one, no one knows for sure, because they are never spoken of again. Their hut is left empty, a silent monument to their departure. Their name is carefully erased from memory, as if they never existed at all. It's a tradition born of reverence and fear, a pact made with the unseen to ensure the village's survival. But traditions, no matter how old, are sometimes challenged. There was a young man named Okira, his spirit as fiery and untamed as the forest itself. He was curious, bold, and brimming with a rebellious energy that made the elders uneasy. Okira saw the annual ritual not as a sacred duty, but as a cage built from fear, its bars forged from superstition. He scoffed at the stories, believing they were just tales spun to keep everyone in line. His grandmother, a woman whose eyes held the wisdom of generations, pleaded with him. She took his hands, her touch as frail as dried leaves, and said, "Child, listen to me. In Ndembo, it is not us who keep the tradition. It is the tradition that keeps us alive." Her voice was heavy with a gravity Okira couldn't comprehend, but he just laughed, shaking his head. To him, her words were just another verse in the old Song of Fear. He was determined to prove them all wrong. So, on the next night of the moonless sky, as the village prepared for the ritual, Okira made a fateful decision. While others were carefully tying on their ancestral masks, he slipped away, his face, bara his heart pounding with a mix of defiance and anticipation. The rhythmic thunder of the drums called to him, pulling him towards the sacred grove. He crept through the undergrowth, his senses on high alert, determined to witness the truth with his own eyes. He found a spot at the edge of the clearing, hidden in the deep shadows. The sight before him was both terrifying and mesmerizing. The fire in the center roared higher than he had ever seen it, its flames licking at the starless sky. The masked dancers moved as one, their bodies swaying and stomping in a frantic, almost possessed rhythm. They weren't just dancing, they were channeling something ancient, something powerful. The air was thick with energy, so potent it felt like he could reach out and touch it. Okira watched, his initial skepticism slowly dissolving into a primal sense of awe and a creeping dread. Then, in a single, heart-stopping moment, everything changed. The roaring orange flames of the great fire suddenly turned a ghostly, incandescent blue. A profound, unnatural silence fell over the grove, so complete that the frantic beating of Okira's own heart sounded like a war drum. The chanting stopped. The dancing ceased. A bone-chilling wind, cold and sharp, swept through the clearing, extinguishing every torch and lantern, leaving only the eerie blue fire and the frozen figures of the dancers. From the deepest, darkest shadows at the edge of the grove, figures began to emerge. Te Weretal, impossibly so, their forms indistinct and wavering like heat haze. They were faceless, yet Okira could feel their gaze upon him. where their eyes should have been. 2 points of light burned like fiery coals, embers plucked from the heart of a dying star. As these beings glided into the clearing, the masked villagers, even the strongest warriors, fell to their knees, pressing their faces to the earth in absolute terror and submission. But Okira, paralyzed by a fear he had never known, remained standing. He was frozen in place, a lone, unmasked figure in a sea of prostration. The beings turned their burning gaze upon him. They began to circle him, moving with a silent, fluid grace that was utterly inhuman. They whispered, not with voices, but with a sound that bypassed his ears and resonated deep within his bones. A language of pure feeling that made his very marrow ache with an ancient sorrow. One of the beings, taller than the rest, glided forward. It raised a long, slender hand and reached out, its touch as cold as the grave. It pressed its fingers against Okira's chest. An agony-sing searing pain shot through him as his skin erupted with light. Glowing symbols, like fiery brands, burned themselves into his flesh. Intricate patterns that pulsed with the same blue light as the fire. From the kneeling crowd, a cry of pure horror ripped through the silence. It was the village elders. "He has been marked," they wailed, their voices trembling. The spirits had claimed him. That cry shattered the spell that held Okira. Primal instinct took over. He turned and fled, crashing blindly into the dark forest, running for his life. But there was no escape. The whispers followed him, a constant, tormenting presence in his mind. The rhythmic beat of the ritual drums echoed in his ears. No matter how far he ran, he had broken the tradition. And now, the tradition was breaking him. He soon discovered the true extent of his curse. When he knelt to drink from a stream, he saw no reflection staring back at him, only the clear, undisturbed water. When the sun rose, casting long shadows across the forest floor, he realized, with a sickening jolt, that he no longer had one of his own. He had become untethered from the world of the living. They say Okira still wanders those dense Central African forests, a ghost in his own life. He is trapped between worlds, half man, half spirit, a living embodiment of a broken pact. He is a cautionary tale, a story told to the children of Ndembo, to teach them a vital lesson. Some mysteries are not meant to be solved, and some traditions are not meant to be broken. And so, every year, when the moon hides its face and the sky turns black, the people of Ndembo gather. They don their masks, their faces hidden, their eyes squeezed shut. They dance to the beat of the ancient drums, hoping, praying, that when the spirits walk among them, they will not be the next one chosen. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the mysteries of Ndembo. If you enjoy stories that explore the darker corners of our world, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Let me know in the comments what you think happened to Okira. Until next time, stay curious.